Welcome to Rambling Randomly. Today, we're going to talk about letting go of perfectionism and embracing progress. In our fast paced, achievement driven world, perfectionism is often mistaken for excellence. We're told that every detail must be flawless, every goal must be met exactly as planned, and that any deviation from our meticulously set standards is a failure. But what if we reframed our perspective? What if, instead of being shackled by perfectionism, we embraced progress, valued small victories, and learned to set mindful intentions over rigid resolutions? In this episode, we'll explore the pitfalls of perfectionism and the trap, and dive into the nuanced art of setting intentions versus resolutions. The illusion of perfectionism. Perfectionism can feel like a badge of honor or a sign that you care deeply about your work, your relationships, and your personal growth. However, it's important to distinguish between healthy striving and the unrealistic expectations that perfectionism often brings. While ambition can drive us to excel, the quest for perfection tends to create a cycle of relentless self criticism and anxiety. To understand how we can let it go and embrace progress, we have to understand some of the aspects of it. Here are some key aspects of what perfectionism entails: excessively high standards. Perfectionists often hold themselves to unrealistic benchmarks. Those standards aren't just about doing well, they demand flawlessness. Whether in professional projects, creative endeavors, or personal relationships, the pressure to meet those lofty expectations can be overwhelming. The fear of failure. One of the driving forces behind perfectionism is a deep seated fear of failure. For many, any mistake or perceived shortcoming isn't just a minor setback, it's seen as a reflection of their worth or abilities. This fear can paralyze decision making and hinder the willingness to take risks. All or nothing thinking. Perfectionism is frequently accompanied by a binary way of thinking. Outcomes are either perfect or a complete failure. This black and white perspective leaves little room for nuance, meaning that any deviation from the ideal can be viewed as unacceptable. Overcriticism. A common trait among perfectionists is a relentless inner critic. The inner dialogue magnifies minor flaws and often overshadows accomplishments, even when success is achieved. The focus tends to shift to what could have been better rather than celebrating what went right. The impact on mental health. The pressure to be perfect can lead to chronic stress, anxiety, and burnout. The constant need for validation and the fear of falling short can create a cycle of self doubt and dissatisfaction. Over time, this can undermine self esteem and overall mental well being. Origins and influences. Perfectionism can stem from a variety of sources, including early experiences. Childhood experiences such as overloud critical parents or high expectations from caregivers can lay the groundwork for perfectionistic tendencies. Societal and cultural pressures. In a society that often equates success with flawlessness, the pressure to be perfect can be amplified by extreme expectations, whether in academic, professional, or social settings. Personal identity. For some, perfectionism becomes a part of their identity. It's not just about the task at hand, it's a way of defining themselves and their self worth. Balancing ambition with self compassion. While striving for excellence can drive innovation and success, unchecked perfectionism can be counterproductive. Recognizing that perfection is an unrealistic goal is a crucial step. Embracing self compassion, allowing for mistakes, and focusing on progress rather than flawlessness can transform perfection into a more adaptive and positive force. The perfectionism trap. At its core, paralysis by analysis occurs when the fear of making a mistake or not achieving perfection leads you to overanalyze every aspect of a task or decision. Rather than moving forward with a plan, you find yourself stuck in a loop of endless evaluations and what ifs. This is not just about being cautious, It's a debilitating state where the pressure to be perfect creates such an overwhelming doubt that even minor decisions become major roadblocks. How does it fit into the perfectionism trap? Fear of imperfection. For those caught in the perfectionism trap, every choice is seen through a lens of potential imperfection. This fear drives a need to consider every angle, ensuring that the outcome is flawless. Ironically, this exhaustive process makes it harder to start, let alone finish a task. Overwhelming options. Perfectionists often view each task as an opportunity to achieve the ideal outcome. While many possible approaches or solutions, the fear of choosing the wrong option leads to overanalysis. Instead of selecting one path and adopting along the way, the analysis becomes an endless quest for the perfect decision, which rarely exists. Loss of momentum. When you're stuck analyzing every detail, the natural momentum of the progress grinds to a halt. Every minute spent deliberating is a minute lost that could have been used to take action. This lack of progress reinforces feelings of inadequacy and self doubt, further entrenching the perfectionism trap. Decision fatigue. Constantly scrutinizing the choices can lead to decision fatigue, a state where your ability to make further decisions deteriorates. The mental energy expended on overthinking can leave you exhausted, making it even more challenging to break free from the paralysis and move forward. Overcoming paralysis by analysis. Understanding that perfection is unattainable is a first step in combating paralysis by analysis. Here are some strategies to help you break that cycle. Set time limits. Give yourself a fixed amount of time to make decisions. This forces you to prioritize taking actions over endless deliberation. Embrace imperfection. Recognize that no decision will ever be perfect. Allow yourself space to make mistakes and learn from them. Break tasks into smaller steps. Simplify complex decisions by breaking them down. Tackle each small step without overanalyzing the big picture. Trust your instincts. Sometimes your intuition can guide you better than your overthinking. Trusting your gut can lead to quicker, more effective decisions. Reflect on past successes. Remind yourself of times when you made decisions without overthinking and achieved good outcomes. This can help build confidence in your ability to decide and act, even when conditions aren't perfect. Consider the scenario of an artist who hesitates to share their work with the world. Every brushstroke is scrutinized under a microscope of self criticism. What begins as a creative passion gradually morphs into an overwhelming fear of imperfection. The artist might hold back from exhibiting their work, stalling their growth and missing opportunities to connect with others. The key takeaway is that perfection is an illusion. Instead of setting ourselves up for disappointment, we can learn to appreciate progress and the valuable lessons embedded in each mistake. Embracing progress over perfection. Embracing progress over perfection is a transformative mindset that can liberate you from the unyielding grip of perfectionism. Instead of fixating on the elusive, flawless outcome, this approach encourages you to find the small, meaningful steps that contribute to long term growth and fulfillment. Here's an in depth look at how embracing progress can help you let go of perfectionism and cultivate a healthier, more productive way of living. Redefining success. When perfectionism dominates, success is measured solely by how closely your results align with the ideal standard. However, this narrow view often leaves little room for error or learning. Embracing progress over perfection shifts your focus to continuous improvement. Success becomes less about achieving the unattainable perfect outcome and more about cumulative gains you make every day. whether that's learning a new skill, overcoming a challenge, or simply taking a courageous step forward. The value of small steps. Big goals can feel overwhelming, and the pressure to be perfect can make each step feel monumental. When you value progress, however, you recognize that every small effort counts. Each step you take, no matter how minor it seems, is a building block towards larger achievements. This perspective helps you appreciate the journey itself rather than becoming fixed on a distant, perfect endpoint. Learning from mistakes. In the realm of perfectionism, mistakes are often seen as failures. Embracing progress over perfection means viewing those errors as essential parts of the learning process. Every misstep is the opportunity to understand what works, what doesn't, and how you can adjust your approach. This mindset fosters resilience, as you're less likely to be deterred by setbacks and more likely to view them as valuable feedback on your journey. Cultivating self compassion. Letting go of perfectionism requires a compassionate attitude toward yourself. Instead of harshly critiquing every perceived shortcoming, embracing progress encourages self compassion. This means acknowledging that you're human and that growth is nonlinear, and that's perfectly normal to have ups and downs along the way. Self compassion creates a supportive inner dialogue that nurtures confidence and the willingness to keep moving forward despite imperfections. Embracing imperfect action. One of the most powerful shifts in the mindset is understanding that done is better than perfect. Embracing progress over perfection means taking imperfect action. It's about starting with what you have and refining your approach as you go, rather than waiting for the perfect moment or the ideal plan. This can lead to more creative problem solving and innovation as you allow yourself the freedom to experiment, fail, and ultimately improve. Building momentum. Every action, no matter how small, builds momentum. When you focus on progress, you create positive feedback loop. Each step forward boosts your confidence, makes it easier to take the next one. This momentum can help overcome the inertia that often comes with perfectionism, propelling you toward your goals with greater ease and satisfaction. Practical strategies to embrace progress. Set incremental goals. Break larger objectives into smaller, manageable tasks. Celebrate each accomplishment along the way. Practice mindfulness. Stay present and appreciate the process. Mindfulness can help you focus on your current actions rather than worrying about the ideal future outcome. Reflect regularly. Take time to review your progress and reflect on lessons learned from any mistakes. This reinforces the idea that growth is ongoing and ever evolving. Reward yourself. Recognize and reward your efforts, not just the final result. This can reinforce the habit of valuing progress over perfection. Seek feedback. Sometimes an outside perspective can help you see the value in your progress, even when you're too close to your work to appreciate it fully. The art of setting intentions versus resolutions. The art of setting intentions versus crafting resolutions is a subtle yet transformative aspect of letting go of perfectionism and embracing progress. While both practices are designed to guide your personal growth, they do so in fundamentally different ways. And understanding these differences can help you move away from the rigid, perfectionistic thinking toward a more fluid, adaptive, and compassionate approach to change. The essence of setting intentions. Setting intentions is about aligning your core values and creating a vision for how you want to be rather than fixing specific outcomes. Here's what makes setting intentions uniquely powerful: mindful presence. Setting intentions invites you to be fully present in the moment instead of getting lost in the hustle of the daily task or fixating solely on future outcomes. Intentions encourage you to embrace where you are right now. This mindfulness allows you to connect with your inner self, understand your current needs, and appreciate the journey as it unfolds. Alignment with core values. At its core, an intention reflects on what truly matters to you. It's an expression of your inner values and beliefs. When you set an intention, you're making a conscious choice to live in a way that honors who you are and what you stand for. This alignment ensures that your actions are not just about achieving external results, but about nurturing a life that feels authentic and fulfilling. Flexibility and adaptability. Unlike rigid goals, intentions are fluid and adaptable. They acknowledge that life is ever changing and that growth often comes through unexpected twists and turns. By setting intentions, you grant yourself the freedom to adapt and evolve without the pressure of having to adhere strictly to a predetermined plan. This flexibility encourages a healthy mindset where mistakes are seen as opportunities for learning rather than failures. Intrinsic motivation. Intentions are born from within. They are intrinsically motivated by your personal desires and aspirations rather than external pressures. The intrinsic drive makes your daily actions more meaningful and sustainable. When your actions are fueled by an internal conviction, you're more likely to feel satisfied and empowered, even if the journey isn't always linear. Cultivating self compassion. The process of setting intentions is inherently kind and compassionate. It's about acknowledging your current state without judgment and gently guiding yourself toward a more fulfilling path by focusing on what you aspire to embody rather than what you must achieve. You create a supportive internal dialogue. This self compassion allows you to navigate setbacks with grace and it encourages continuous personal growth. A journey, not a destination. Perhaps the most transformative aspect of setting intentions is a shift in perspective from a fixed destination to an ongoing journey. Intentions aren't just milestones to check off a list, they're a continuous reminder of the person you're striving to become. Each day, a new opportunity to realign with your intentions, to adjust and move forward with purpose, even if your progress is incremental. And to incorporate the essence of setting intentions into your daily life, consider these steps. Begin each day with reflection. Start your morning with a quiet moment of reflection. Ask yourself what values or qualities you wish to embody during the day, whether it's patience, courage, or creativity. Write it down. Articulate your intention in a journal or a note. Writing it down can serve as a powerful reminder and anchor throughout your day. Stay flexible. Allow your intention to guide you rather than dictate your every move. Be open to adjusting as circumstances change. End with gratitude. At the close of your day, reflect on how your intention influenced your actions. Celebrate the small victories and learn from the challenges without harsh self judgment. For example, instead of resolving to lose 20 pounds by the end of the month, which sets a rigid standard, you might set the intention to nurture my health through mindful choices and regular movement, which inherently values progress and self care over perfection. The structure of crafting resolutions. Resolutions, on the other hand, typically involve setting a clear, concrete goals, often with specific metrics and deadlines. They can provide a structured path towards achieving a desired outcome, but they come with their own set of challenges. Goal oriented focus. Resolutions are centered on outcomes. They offer a clear target to aim for, which can be motivating. However, this focus on the end result may inadvertently foster an all or nothing mentality, where any deviation is seen as a failure. Rigid framework. Because the resolutions tend to be specific and deadline driven, They can be less forgiving when circumstances change. This rigidity can be problematic for perfectionists who might view any setback as a sign of inadequacy rather than a natural part of the learning process. External validation. Resolutions often rely on measurable achievements that can sometimes be externally validated. While this can provide accountability, it also leads you to depend on external markers for success rather than trusting your internal process of growth. For example, a common resolution might be to get a promotion by improving my performance metrics within 6 months. This goal is clear and measurable, but if you don't meet that exact target, it can lead to harsh self judgment, even if significant progress was made. Finding balance, integrating intentions with resolutions. The key to letting go of perfectionism and truly embracing progress lies in blending the fluidity of intentions with the clarity of resolutions. Here's how you can achieve that balance: clarity and specificity. One of the crucial aspects of a well crafted resolution is clarity. A vague resolution often leads to vague outcomes. To make your resolution effective, define it as clearly as possible and consider these elements: specific goals. Instead of get in shape, specify what that means to you, such as run a 5K or attend 3 fitness classes a week. Detailed outcomes. Outline what success looks like, and if you're aiming to save money, decide on a specific amount or a percentage of your income to set aside. Time bound framework. A resolution without a deadline can easily fall by the wayside. Incorporating time constraints adds a sense of urgency and helps you structure your efforts. Short term and long term goals. Break your resolutions into phases. For example, if your goal is to write a book, set milestones for drafting, editing, and finalizing chapters. Deadlines. Assign realistic deadlines to each milestone. This creates a timeline that can guide your day or weekly actions. Actionable steps. A resolution is only as good as a plan supports it. Once you have a clear goal, break it down into smaller, actionable tasks. Task breakdown. List out the specific steps required to achieve your goal. This could include learning new skills, scheduling activities, or reaching out for support. Prioritization. Organize these tasks by importance and sequence them logically. Knowing which steps to take first can reduce overwhelm and create a clear path forward. Flexibility and adaptability. Even the best laid plans need room for adjustment. A rigid resolution can lead to frustration if circumstances change. Build in flexibility. Allow for modifications in your plan as you learn more about your capabilities and constraints. Contingency plans. Prepare for potential obstacles by having backup strategies or alternative steps ready. This helps maintain momentum even when unexpected challenges arise. Accountability and support. Having a system of accountability can greatly enhance your commitment to your resolution. Self monitoring. Keep a journal or use an app to track your daily progress. Recording small wins can boost motivation. External accountability. Share your resolution with a friend, mentor, or community group. External support and feedback can provide encouragement and keep you on track. Evaluation and reflection. A structured resolution is not static, it evolves with you. Regular reflection. Periodically assess what's working and what isn't. Reflect on your achievements and challenges. Use your reflections to tweak your strategy. This continuous improvement cycle ensures that your resolution remains relevant and attainable over time. So let's recap what we've talked about today. Letting go of perfectionism and embracing progress. We explored the idea while striving for excellence is admirable. Perfectionism can trap us in an endless cycle of self criticism and inaction. Embracing progress involves recognition that every imperfect step is a part of a continuous journey towards growth. The perfectionism trap. We discussed how perfectionism can lead to issues like fear of failure, overthinking, and the all or nothing mentality. This trap can cause us to delay decisions, become overly critical of ourselves, and ultimately hinder our progress. Paralysis by analysis. This phenomenon, where overthinking prevents action, was highlighted as a significant aspect of the perfectionism trap. We looked at how the fear of making imperfect decisions can lead to decision fatigue and loss of momentum, embracing progress over perfection. The conversation emphasized shifting focus from achieving a flawless outcome to valuing small, consistent improvements. This approach encourages learning from mistakes, taking imperfect action, and building momentum through incremental progress. The art of setting intentions versus resolutions. We compared two approaches to goal setting. Setting intentions. This is a mindful, flexible practice that's centered on aligning with your core values, embracing the journey, and fostering self compassion. Intentions are less about fixed outcomes and more about guiding your daily actions with purpose. Crafting resolutions. Resolutions are structured, goal oriented, and often come with specific metrics and deadlines. While they provide clear targets and measurable outcomes, they can also reinforce a rigid, all or nothing mindset if not balanced with flexibility. The essence of setting intentions. We delved into the core of setting intentions, noting that it involves being present, aligning with your values, and allowing for flexibility. Intentions help nurture intrinsic motivation and self compassion, transforming your journey into one of continuous growth rather than a checklist of outcomes. Lastly, we talked about the structure of crafting resolutions. A detailed look at how to effectively create resolutions was provided. Key elements included clarity and specificity, measurable objectives, time bound framework, actionable steps, flexibility and accountability, evaluation and reflection. Overall, our conversation centered on moving away from the unrealistic expectations of perfectionism and embracing a mindset that values progress, learning, and personal growth. Whether through mindful intentions or structured resolutions, the goal is to foster a balanced, resilient approach to achieving a fulfilling life.